Hello everyone, and welcome back to episode 52 of Katawa Shoujo. Let's begin. The morning sun is bright through my open window, and the sound of my alarm quickly has me up and about. I slept surprisingly well last night, secure in the knowledge that at least I've got another chance with Emmy. If I can just keep myself from doing anything stupid, maybe I'll find out what's been eating her recently. I have a few educated guesses, but nothing concrete, and certainly nothing that I'm going to say to her. I'd much prefer to have her tell me herself. Although, I can't help remembering what the nurse is warning that I might not like what she has to say. Do I really need to know that badly? What if it's something awful that makes me repulsed by her? Can I really save the time prepared to handle whatever she has to say, regardless of what it is? Emmy said that she wanted to tell me without screwing it up. What the hell did she mean by that? What's there to screw up? I suppose there's not much use worrying about it, though. I'll find out today. It occurs to me that I really need a run this morning to clear my head, if nothing else. Emmy is waiting for me as promised, looking a little haggard, but otherwise bright and cheerful, much more so than any previous day this week. Peace out, you're late. I wave my hand dismissively. Nonsense, you're just early. Emmy grins back, and it feels like we're finally back to where we should be with one another. Except now, Emmy, not just me, wants to take another step forward. Although part of me worries that she'll back out at the last second. Hurry up and stretch, Esau. I don't want to miss the bus. The bus? I said I wanted you to come back to my house, remember? And I promised Mum we'd be there we'd be there in time for lunch, so I wanted to hurry. Early start, huh? It's more for my mum's benefit than anything else. Ah, well, that's okay. I unsuccessfully try to guess what Emmy has planned, shortly before realising that it doesn't matter much to me. I quickly go through my warm-up routine while Emmy bounces impatiently from one foot to the other. She really does seem to want to get moving as soon as possible. The run is over so quickly I can barely believe that I hadn't fallen over dead afterwards. Emmy set a blistering pace, and I, in my foolishness, kept up with her. Well, until the last few laps I had to slow down just in case, but I don't mind, and Emmy's waiting patiently for me as I finish, as patiently as she can wait anyway. Finished? Good, come on. Grabbing my arm, she practically rushes me down the nurse's office. You seem in a hurry, Emmy. Trying to catch the early bus? Yeah, I told my mum I'd be back for lunch. Well, I'll take care of you first then. But Hisa's got to come with me too. The nurse raises a single eyebrow at this statement and peers at the two of us searchingly. Really? Today, huh? Emmy's response is a nod, followed by a surprisingly shy grin. Well then, we'll make this quick. Emmy enters the nurse's office, and I patiently wait outside for her to be finished, wondering why the nurse seemed to be surprised by Emmy's declaration. I feel like I'm missing out on some joke or the significance of today, beyond the fact that it is clearly significant in some way, of course. True to his word, the nurse has Emmy out of his office surprisingly quickly, and I take her place after promising to meet up at the front gate. The nurse takes my pulse and listens for a bit. Your heart beats faster than usual. Been pushing yourself again, have you? Well, Emmy seemed in a rush to get through the run, so I'm not surprised. Today is rather important to her, you know. I suspect that could be the case, but I have no idea why that's the case. She hasn't told you? Interesting. So you're not going to tell me either, then? No, I'm not. I suspect that Emmy has her own plan for explaining today to you. But I don't want to mess with that. You'll find out soon enough, so what's the rush? Now, as for your heart, I would take it very easy for the rest of the day. No spontaneous races or anything like that. Got it? Got it. You won't have me running legs up anywhere, right? No. If you think something like that's going to stop her, good point. I don't think it'll be much of an issue today of all days, but still, if he's trying to reassure me, he's doing a terrible job. I'm quickly becoming more and more worried about what today could be, for like suddenly finding out Emmy's in a cult or something. At the same time, if today is such a big deal and Emmy wants me to be with her for it, then maybe she really does want to grow closer to me. Maybe this will be the answer to all the riddles, to the sleepless night and the sudden mood swings. Either way, I barely remember to thank the nurse before taking off as quickly as I dared for my room. To get a shower, throw on some decent looking clothes if today is as important as it seems to be. I should dress appropriately. Emmy, of course, proves me wrong as soon as I reach the front gate, wearing her usual shirt and shorts. So at least I know it's not a terribly formal affair, whatever it is. You're early, he said. Not as early as you, eager are we? Emmy cheekily pokes out her tongue. The bus stop isn't very crowded at this hour, which seems to please Emmy, and we end up relaxing a little as we wait. We sit in silence for a while, but I can tell that Emmy's trying to work herself up to say something. I don't have anything to say to myself, so I sit waiting for her to talk. It doesn't take too long. So, I'm sure you're curious as to why the nurse thought it was so weird for me to be bringing you along today. I was a bit, yes, but if you're not ready to tell me. Emmy stops my sentence by placing a finger on my lips. Don't tell me, Giselle. I want to tell you this, but I'm just uncertain as to how to go about it. I don't want to keep delaying or deferring. I just want to be able to say it. So say it. You know, it's not going to be that easy for me, Giselle. So treat it like running. Warm up to it with something small and easy, and go from there. But don't take it too fast, okay? I'm a patient man. I can wait for you to get to it. Emmy seems to consider my words, weighing them against what is probably a desire to get over it. I will admit, as much as I keep telling Emmy to take her time, I wouldn't mind getting it over with, either. But somehow, I know that Emmy probably needs more time than the bus ride will provide to get all out, whatever it is. Yeah, maybe you're right. The bus stop probably isn't the best place for this anyway. But just to make sure that I don't go back on my word, I'll at least say this. She takes a deep breath, lets it out, and after a moment, said in a low voice, "We're going to see my dad today." The words hang in the air, and I can see that Emmy's afraid that I'll panic and disappear in response, which part of me almost wants to do, but it would be stupid of me to back out, or to suddenly abandon the promise I made to be there for Emmy when she needs me. The nurse thought it was so weird of her to bring me along. She doesn't bring anyone along, or at least I'm willing to bet that she hasn't before today. The day seems to take on an even greater significance. What has it taken Emmy to get this far? And why is that the best I can manage as a response? Yeah. I don't know what I should say. Nothing, I think. Just promise that you're going to come with me. Of course, you know I will. Emmy smiles wanly, looking a little relieved. Good. In that case, we better get going. The bus pulls up just a little after she finishes the sentence. Vague memories of my first trip out here come to mind as I step off the bus, but unfortunately they're too vague to be of any use. I'll be the first to admit that I don't quite recall how to get Emmy's house, so I let her lead the way. She seems content to walk in silence, and I myself have no idea what I could possibly say. So the two of us arrive at the house, having said nothing since getting off the bus. Emmy's mother opens the door, and doesn't seem surprised to see me standing next to her daughter. I expect Emmy would have phoned ahead to let her mother know of the change of plans. Emmy, Easter, you're just in time. Lunch is about ready. Great. I was afraid we might be running late. As far as you were, as fast as you were going this morning, I doubt there was much of a chance of that. I certainly hope she wasn't too much of a bother, Lisa. She tends to get a little paranoid about being on time when food's involved. I hadn't noticed. Returned to me a swat of the arm from Emmy, who, despite the serious nature of our conversation on the bus and the almost brooding quiet, has become cheerful again. Probably to keep her mother from worrying about whatever it is Emmy plans to tell me later. Mrs. Ibarozaki ushers us in and, in short, ordered. We were around the table devouring lunch. I hadn't realised how hungry I was until I got here, but for once I seemed to be eating almost as much as Emmy. Goodness, it's a good thing I made so much. The two of you are acting like you hadn't eaten in days. I skipped breakfast this morning. Me too. Had to catch the... wrong voice. Had to catch the bus, I assume. That, and I figured you'd made too much food, so it wouldn't matter if I skipped breakfast. Well, it's good to know that I'm predictable. Emmy nods enthusiastically, and the conversation falls off again as we very nearly clear the table of anything edible. It is a testament to the sheer amount of food on offer that we don't finish everything. I lean back in my chair with a sigh and thank Miss Ibarozaki for the food. I'm glad you liked it, Hisa. Now, has Emmy told you where we're going? Yeah, sort of. Is it far from here? Not really, but we'll drive there to save time. It closes kind of early. I nod in assent and stand up, ready to go. Well then, shall we? Mrs. Ibarozaki nods and leaves the room to grab her keys. Emmy, I notice, has started to fidget nervously. Second thoughts. Emmy smells tightly at me and shrugs. She falls in sight again, which probably means I'm right, and she is starting to regret bringing me along. Not that I blame her, she's done such a good job of shutting me out that I doubt it's easy to suddenly open up. Honestly, I'm worried that she's forcing it. But she said, while waiting for the bus, that I'm not supposed to give her a chance to back out, and since I promised to go with her anyway, I suppose there's not much of a choice. Can't go back on my promise, and she can't go back on hers. I just hope that both of us are up to it. We're off. Emmy's mother blows through the dining room, collects the two of us, and heads out the door at a brisk pace. Now I know where her daughter gets it from. The car pulls up at the cemetery gates, and I feel Emmy tense up beside me. I reach over and give her a hand, a comforting squeeze. My reading comprehension today, which causes her to relax a little. Emmy's mother doesn't follow us, explaining that she prefers to visit the grave alone. Emmy steps through the gates and looks back as if to make sure I'm still there. We step into the cemetery. I don't feel comfortable in cemeteries. Gravestones litter the ground, each one serving as a reminder that someone used to be alive and is no longer. How many died young? How many were as old as I am now? When do I wind up with a marker of my own? How much longer do I have left? The concept of not waking up, not seeing Emmy anymore is not a happy one. It frightens me, and I very nearly turn around and exit right then and there. I don't want to go among the dead people. I don't want to see their stones and think about who they were or what they could have been if they'd only had more time. Then I look at the girl next to me, and my resolve returns. Emma's striding purposefully down the path, eyes clear, setting a pace that's very nearly a jog. The sooner we get there, I suspect she thinks the better. We're here. The gravestone. wholly unremarkable in everything except for the name etched upon it. The grass has grown up around the base, and his eyes are riveted to the stone. After a few moments, she turns around, looking surprisingly calm, yet solemn. Pink's not actually my favourite colour, you know. What? I'm warming up to it. People tend to think that pink's my favourite colour. I think it's just because I like strawberries. And even then, those are red. They just assume that pink's the right colour for strawberries. And that it's my favourite colour. But it's not. I'm too polite to tell anyone otherwise, of course. It's not the kind of thing worth getting worried about. But I'll bet even you thought pink was my favourite colour. Blue. That's my favourite colour. My mum and dad are the only two who know that, and now you do. Thanks for telling me, I think. You're welcome. There's a pause as she considers what to say next, drawing a quick breath. I can't carry a tune to save my life. I can hum, but actually singing a song is something I've never been able to do. I don't mind, because I'm not a fan of karaoke anyway. Well, that's one potential date idea out the window. People think that I'm a really popular and friendly person, but I only have a few close friends, probably because I keep everyone in the dark. But I think it's also because I hate the idea of losing a close friend. There aren't many people worth the risk. I'm terrible at saying goodbye. I sometimes think that I only run because it's what I used to do with my father. You're not my first boyfriend. I dated a guy for a long while during my second year at Yamaku, but in the end we broke up because I didn't want to get closer to him. He couldn't live with that distance between us. Her rate of speaking increases slightly, as if she's rushing towards the finish line. I'm actually 1 year older than you. Everybody thinks I'm younger because I'm short, but I had to skip 1 year school because of my accident. Tell me about it. I mean, I'm not ultra short, but you know, average height, still not 6 foot. I initially thought I was paralysed when they pulled me out of the wreckage. I'd lost my legs already, but they were afraid that I wouldn't even be able to use what was left of them. After the surgery, it was clear that their initial assessment was mistaken. I couldn't feel my legs because of the shock. Short-term paralysis due to the other trauma I'd experienced. My recovery was one of the fastest they'd ever seen, or so they told me. I've never found out if they were serious about that, or if they told that to all the patients learning to walk again. She pauses, gathering herself for one last effort. 8 years ago, today, I lost my legs, and I lost my father as well. He died on the way to the hospital. I didn't even get to go to the gravesite until 2 months later, and couldn't attend his funeral. I'm so sorry. Don't be. That's what everyone always says, that they're sorry. I hate hearing that. Like, anyone could have done anything to change what happened. You know the best piece of advice I got? These things happen. I don't even remember who said it, but I guess they didn't have anything better to say. I suppose the equivalent would be, it is what it is, just gotta keep going. Just gotta keep going because there's always something at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up, just visit that your place, don't give up, just keep going, man, just, you'll get there eventually. If you're in a dark spot, it's tough to come out of, but sometimes you just gotta push through it. It's true, you know. These things happen, and there's nothing you can do about it. They aren't necessarily planned, and they aren't always bad, and they aren't always good, but they are. So I made the decision that I would live without worrying about the future. And to be sure that I never had to say goodbye again, I decided I wouldn't let people get close to me anymore. After all, we could be taken away at any time, and you know what? She laughs bitterly. Her eyes start to well up with tears. I step forward to embrace her, but she holds up her hand to stop me. I'm not finished. A deep breath, and she continues. It worked pretty well, until I met you and saw that you were trying to adjust to stuff here. So I thought I'd help, and then you were so nice, and I couldn't help it. The tears are flowing now, and she accepts the embrace this time. The rest of her sentence is mumbled into my chest. I tried not to fall for you, but I did. And then I tried to keep you at a distance like you were my first boyfriend, but I couldn't. I've been so scared because I don't want to lose you, and I might anyway. Hey, I'm still around, right? And maybe I won't be forever, but don't you think it will be fun while it lasts? Neither of us could survive the day. There could be a bus crash or something, but so long as I know that I've been with you, I don't think it matters. The sudden thought strikes, and I can't help but laugh. I can't help laughing. My condition had me scared of dying so badly that I immediately seized on the opportunity Emmy presented to improve my odds at living longer. But without Emmy, would there have been any motivation to keep up with my running? It hits me that Emmy is the reason I want to go running every day, so I can spend as much time with her as possible. Emmy looks at me, confused. We'll go on until we stop, and then when we stop living, we'll be able to know that at least we've had time together, and I wouldn't have it any other way, because I love you, Emmy. And right now, that's enough for me. Emmy smiles through her tears and steps back from me. You know, it's funny. What is? I thought the best way to live in the moment was to do it alone, but now I don't think I'd have it any other way. I'm glad I met you, Hisa. Well, these things happen. Emmy and I stay by the grave for a while, as Emmy pays her respects to her father. When she's ready to go, we exit the graveyard, side by side. Emmy's mother drives us back to Yamaku. The trip back is very quiet. We wave goodbye as the car drives off. I glance down at the girl who's leaning on my arm. How are you feeling? Emmy shrugs non-committally. It'll be fine. Come on, let's go. We pause outside the girl's door, and I turn to face Emmy, ready to say goodbye. Why don't you come up for a ride? Okay. The walk up to her room is in silence. I'm not sure why I suppose I'd be turned away at the door. Guess I just assumed she'd wanted to be alone. Her mum, the nurse, hell, everyone who knew the significance of today seemed to think it best to leave Emmy alone. But she took me into the graveyard with her. She told me the whole story of what happened on the day she lost her legs. She wanted me around. The significance of this does not escape me. Emmy opens the door and steps into her room, not even bothering to invite me in, holding the door open for me expectantly. I step in, and the door swings shut behind me. Hey, can I ask you a favour? Sure, can't guarantee I will do it, but... She giggles, pulls me into a kiss. Starts out soft, but deepens into something almost desperate. Stay with me, please. Her voice dropped into a whisper. The question is barely audible over the sound of my own breathing. There's something about the way that she asked that question. The hesitancy in it, the quiet voice, that makes me think she doesn't mean tonight. No, she means exactly what she said. Stay with me, not tonight or forever, because both of us know there's no such thing as forever. There's no time limit to her request. There's just a request of a favour. Can I do that? Can I stay with her? Of course. We embrace again, Emmy guiding me towards her bed, stepping backwards with care until she sits down on the edge. Nice background of fish and all. I collapse next to Emmy, who almost immediately curls up against me. Mentally, I feel grateful that Emmy keeps her nails short, otherwise I think she might have drawn blood. I set up briefly to dispose of what the now used condom and lay back down next to me, who in turn taking care of cleaning myself. For a while, we lay in silence, savouring the feeling of being next to one another. Emmy is the first to speak up. Hey, Hisa. Thanks for coming with me today. I smile and plant a kiss on Emmy's forehead. Of course, my pleasure. Emmy snuggles closer. I can feel her breathing begin to slacken as she begins to drift off to sleep. Just as she's about to fall asleep, she wakes up enough to mutter a single sentence. I love you, Hisa. Then she's out like a light, leaving me feeling like I'm on top of the world. I draw the slumbering Emmy as close as possible, pull the covers over us to make sure to keep the chill off, and fall asleep as happy as I've ever been. The morning light seems to reach further into Emmy's room than it does into mine. The results in my waking up earlier than I would have if I had gone back to my room last night as had previously been our routine. I did not realise until this morning, but this is the first time we've actually spent the night together. Small movement from my partner's still slumbering form causes me to look down her side. Her hair splayed across her face, and he continues to sleep peacefully curled up next to me. It's slightly weird seeing her without her trademark twin tails, but it's also a look I could get used to. Small size of a bed here necessitates her curling up. I'm pretty sure she would have done so anyway. The covers are nearly overhead, and our small as an errant strand of hair causes her nose to twitch slightly. Unable to help myself, I draw her a little closer, a move which she seemed to think was a good idea. Her steady breathing, or her steady breath, raises a trail of goosebumps across my chest, but I don't mind. I'm no longer tired, but I do not feel a need to move from my current position. Emmy's warm body, in response against mine, is far too comfortable to move. I gaze up at the ceiling and consider how it is we got to this point. We've been close for a while, but not this close. It seemed like only yesterday that she ran into me in the hallway and after apologising decided to take an interest in my well-being. But that grew into something else, which I, at least, was not expecting. One thing is for certain, having found Emmy, I will try as hard as I can not to lose her. My morning musing is interrupted by a further movement from Emmy. Her eyes flutter open, and she seems briefly confused by my presence in her bed, as well as her current state of dress, which is non-existent. Then she smiles happily, sits up, her face looking down at me. Good morning, Hisa. Hi, sleep well? Yeah, I did. Exhausting day yesterday, you know. I think back over yesterday's trip to the graveyard. Yeah. Glad to hear you slept well. How'd you sleep? Well, enough, although you kept hogging the covers. This earns me a shove and a stuck-out tongue. I chuckle, and Emmy giggles a little, and we fall quiet for a while. I soak up the feeling of her right. It all seems waking up with Emmy by me crammed into a bed made for one person. Something I could get used to. Hey, Hisa. Thanks for sticking around. No problem. Save me more back anyway, right? This draws another giggle, but then Emmy's expression turns serious again. No, really, I kept trying to push you away, because I thought that was the right thing to do. And you stuck around for it all. I haven't made any of this easy for you, but you stuck it out anyway. So, really, I mean it. Thank you. She punctuates this by giving me a kiss, pulling me back, and looking at me with an expression of affection. I reach up and ruffle her hair, smiling all the while. I'm stupidly lucky, I think, to have come through everything after my heart attack and to somehow found this girl. nothing short of a miracle. You're very welcome, Emmy. I couldn't bear the thought of giving you up. I'll even continue to stick around if you want. I'd like that. That settles it then. I don't know how long my heart will keep working, and I don't even really know what I'll do after this year is over, apart from going to university. As long as Emma's around, I think I'll be okay. I've managed to help her, and she's managed to help me. If we keep doing that, we'll be okay, I think. So, Sam, what do you want to do today? And there we go. Emmy's route is done. Well, I'm pretty going to skip over the end, so yeah. But yeah, that is Emma's Let's Play finished. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day. To know what I'll be playing next, we'll decide then and there. And thank you for watching, and hope you've enjoyed this journey. And if you have any feedback, just let me know. Thank you for watching. As always, have a good day and take care of yourself. Goodbye.